This is John Meehan with Platinum Football. Today I want to talk to you about a really important piece of the process leading up to the NFL draft every year, and that is the NFL Pro Day and Combine training facilities that you're going to use. This is super important because a lot of players actually make their agent decision based on where they're going to be training. So it's really important for families and for players to understand all the different things that go into choosing what training facility you want to use. The first thing, obviously, is cost. Cost is really important because you have to understand if your agent is covering everything, if your family is chipping in some, or if you or your family, if you don't have an agent, are covering everything. Cost generally includes a lot of different points. Some training facilities are a la carte, where you choose what you need in terms of, maybe you don't need meals, you don't need housing, but you're just training and recovery and supplements. Some places, if you are out of state or if it's somewhere you've never been and you're just flying down there for the 2 months to train, you're going to have everything included. Generally, everything included, it will cost somewhere around $10,000 to $20,000 to train. You're going to be training for about 8 to 12 weeks. So that's also important to consider because realistically, if you're invited to the NFL Combine, you may still want to perform at your pro day afterwards, and you need to know price-wise what your facility is going to charge you to stay after that 8 to 12 weeks. Some people may have CFL workouts, and are they going to charge you for staying there to keep training, even after your pro day while you're still trying to do workouts for other teams? So also, you could get visits from NFL teams where they call you in for a visit and you do another workout. So you really want to know whether this is just 8 straight weeks or whether they're going to allow you to stay and keep training up until the draft, realistically. The other thing is housing. Housing is really important. You need to know whether you're going to have an apartment to yourself, whether you're rooming with somebody, whether you're going to have 4 guys with some people sleeping on the floor. You need to know what your housing situation is before you get there. And along with housing goes transportation. How is the facility going to get you back and forth every day? Or are you going to need a rental car? Is your agent going to have to get you a rental car? Or are you going to drive your own car down? These are things that really need to be considered before choosing your training facility. The next point is meals. Meals are huge because with all the work you're going to do, you're going to need fuel, and some players are going to need more than others. Some players may be trying to lose weight. Some players may be needing to gain weight. So along with meals, most facilities will have a nutritionist or a dietitian on staff. You need to know whether these people are going to be giving you pre-made meals or whether they're just going to give you a shopping list of things you need to get and what that cost is going to be. So the whole meal plan is going to be very important. And along with that also goes supplements. What supplements is your training facility using? Is it something you've tried before and didn't like, or is it something that you trust? So you really need to also understand within that meal plan what kind of supplements they're going to provide to you while you're there. The next piece is just as important as anything else, and that's recovery. What kind of recovery are they going to provide to you? So on your off days where you're not necessarily lifting or running, is there a athletic training staff that's there just in case you get hurt during those days? Is there a chiropractor to do regular adjustments? Is there cryotherapy available? Is there I might have mentioned this before, but athletic trainer on staff who can take a look at all your dings, or a massage therapist? I mean, these are things that are important to know because recovery is actually where you get better. You tear your body apart during training, but when your body recovers is what's actually making you stronger. So you need to take that as seriously as possible and know what your training facility is going to provide. The last thing really is the actual training. And when you're looking at training facilities, some people will be calling you already. Some people are going to send you brochures. All that stuff is basically the same. These points I'm about to give you are the most important things you need to know and take into consideration. Number 1 is location. Where do you want to train? Most guys want to be in the South. They want to be somewhere where the weather is always nice, which is understandable. If that's something that's important to you, you should pay attention to that and let your agent know. Numbers. How many guys are going to be training? And this is a stylistic preference. Some people want one-on-one training. I know of some great facilities that may have 4 to 6 guys and the head coach is training them the whole time. So for that whole 8 weeks, it's basically 1 to 4 or 1 to 6 in terms of coaching. Whereas some other facilities may have 50 guys and then they rotate through stations in smaller groups, but still you have more people there. So you have to understand, do you want more one-on-one training or do you want more competition by having a lot of other bodies and other prospects at the same facility? Also, specialty. Now, I say specialty, but no training facility is really going to tell you that they're not as good as someone else at any different things, such as strength or speed or position specific drills. So you kind of have to look at the results, or you can ask, but realistically, you need to know whether your particular training facility, is more speed oriented, or whether they are just, if you're a lineman on offense or defense, whether their strength program is very good and they've had some of the top guys doing the bench or some of the other strength related activities versus just the running. Also, a huge thing you have to understand is at the NFL Combine or at your pro day, you're going to be asked to do position-specific drills. So if you're going to train somewhere for 8 to 12 weeks and you only get position work once every other week, that may not be a good decision. Whereas you may want somewhere that's going to do position-specific training at least weekly, maybe multiple times a week. So that's another thing that you have to really consider, because as much as it is about those specific Combine and pro day drills, it is also very much about how you look when you're doing your own position drills at your pro day or the NFL Combine. The last thing is coaching style. Coaching style, you should probably call, and your agent, if you have one, should be able to point you or get you the number to the head trainer at your facility so that you can build a relationship before you even get there. You should have talked to the head trainers at all of these facilities and kind of decided what personality you like best, whose training philosophy you like the best. These are things that kind of go unnoticed, but you don't want to get down there and then decide you don't even like the guy you're working with, so you no longer want to be there, and that can be detrimental to this process and peaking at the right time. So lastly, along with that coaching style and hopefully speaking to the coach before you get up there for some amount of time, is to visit. If you're a rising senior, meaning you just finished your junior year, maybe that summer before senior year, you should go visit some facilities. If you have not visited any facilities and you've been talking to some trainers towards the end of your season, especially if your season ends early, as soon as your season is done, get out there and view the training facilities and see what you think. It's just like when you're going to choose a college. When you get there, you'll know what's the right place for you when you feel the vibe and you meet people in person. So visit. Make sure you take the time to visit these facilities before you jump in. Again, you do not want to be one of the guys that goes and trains for a month out of 2 months and then decides this isn't where you want to go. And then you have to find, and your agent has to find a new place for you to go. And that just distracts and takes away from the work you've already done in this one shot you're going to get to the NFL. So realistically, you need to pay attention to the cost, what the housing situation is, meals and supplements, recovery, training, and more importantly, visit these places and get a vibe for them. If you have any questions or want to reach out, my email is john, John, at platinum-football.com. I'd love to answer any questions you have about the draft process, and I appreciate your time and for listening to this video. Any questions, feel free to email me, and go Platinum.